Karen, I'm curious. If you, either from a board position, and I know you're on some boards now, or if you were interviewing with a CEO for a CHRO position, what kind of attributes in today's world do you really think a CEO should be considering for a CHRO? The business acumen part obviously is like kind of table stakes, right? Like you've got to have that.
Right.
But what are some other things that, especially in the last couple of years, you've seen really important?
In a CEO?
CHRO.
CHRO. Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, wait. Yeah, I like both of them, right?
Right.
Mhm.
I think to your point, the CHRO has to be a business leader first.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you have to know the P&L in and out or know how to do credit financing or any of that, but you just have to understand the dynamics and speak through the dynamics and what those, how the work of HR will advance, will advance the business outcomes and making those connections. I think have you speak a totally different language. So we've talked a little bit about that.
Mhm.
I also think a CHRO needs to now connect with a different strata of work. Most of the board and C-suite grew up a certain way. We grew up, we were in the office, we were face to face, we worked in a certain way. And I think work is rapidly changing, and that's obvious. But I see many CEOs and CHR, especially CEOs, acknowledging that things are changing, remote work,
Mhm.
flexibility, living other places, but they don't like it. And they really don't like it, and they don't like it, and it shows. Even though they're saying one thing, their emotion says something else. And so I think a CHRO really has to figure out how to connect with and invest in that, being able to understand that and find joint solutions to how a new workforce is going to be productive and build the relationships and don't lose the culture and get that spontaneity at the same time,
Mhm.
build flexibility and new ways of working. And I find, I don't have as much of that as I think CHROs of the future need to have, because I didn't live through that as a CHRO. I lived through COVID as a board member. And I think many CEOs have a blind spot there. And I think it's going to be very important to develop that skill, that voice, those compromises that are more of a win-win as opposed to the old way or the new way.
Yeah, absolutely. So those influence skills to
Yeah.
help the CEO see the blind spots, I think that is, you're right, is one of the most important skills, influence.
And for a CHR to spend time with millennials and others who are embracing a different way of work and making sure he or she really can bring that point of view. Many of them say, well, my kids, well, you got to have a point of view beyond your 3 children or your 2 children as to what's happening in the workforce. So I think that is something that I'm coaching my CHROs to spend time now in that, with that level of workforce, really understanding what's motivating them, really connecting with them so that they can figure out the win-win there.
Yeah, yeah. Going down and shaking hands at the town hall, right? And
Is not going to get it.